So I wasn't necessarily planning on talking about this when the news first came out, but with so much drama going on, with about 4 separate teams being involved, I think it's time to have a chat about what's going on at Tormans. So let's start at the start, because this is quite the ride. About a week ago, rumours started to come out that Tormans Cyclocross team, currently in partnership with road World Tour outfit Intermarché Wanty-Gobert, would be transferring their team over to Quickstep Alpha Vinyl, arguably the best road team on the planet. The details were somewhat unclear, but it seemed like Lefevre and Tormans would join forces, with Wilfried Peters, uncle of former crosser Rob Peters and directeur sportif at Quickstep, taking over as manager for the cyclocross side of things. However, this still left a lot of things up in the air. It soon became slightly clearer that the partnership would keep aboard the Tormans women's team and the Arkrog Tormans development team. At last weekend's Croaticos in Lille, we got some more details. Jan Tormans gave probably the only interview of the season that will rival Wout Herendal's bombshell by effectively stating the plans that he and Lefevre have. In cross terms, Tormans stated that there would be an elite team for the men and for the women, a development team and an extensive youth system underneath it. These would all fall under the Quickstep Tormans combined branch, with the elite riders seemingly being part of Quickstep during the summer season. As for the women, not really sure. Quickstep don't have a women's department, and Lefevre has in the past made some interesting comments about the standard of women's cycling. However, he seems to be largely walking those back, and is now somewhat involved, but not really, but a little bit involved with Expersa, who sponsor Next Generation Racing on the road. And with Zoe Backstedt being part of the Tormans development team, people have started to guess that it wasn't Hermans or Wieseure or whoever, but Backstedt that is the real prize asset that Lefevre wants out of this deal. So after Lille, it all looked quite set, quite some big moves coming up. Quickstep were to enter cross, Tormans would join up with them, and Intermarché are left to lick their wounds. Quickstep, or whoever Lefevre can find to sponsor, would then also likely be laying the foundations of a women's road team, either alongside or growing from Next Generation Racing. For what it's worth, Intermarché, arguably the biggest victim in all of this, want to continue in cross too, so they'll be looking to make some signings. However, as I typed this about an hour or so ago, it seems like Alpecin-Fenix have hijacked the whole deal. See, Quinten Hermans, Corné van Kessel, Joran Wieseure and Emiel Verstringen are all signed to rider agent Hans van Kasteren. Tormans has already criticised van Kasteren in the past, stating that predatory agents like him are the reason Tormans left football. Van Kasteren has been selling all 4 as a package deal, with Lefevre refusing to sign the 4 until he's at least met them. However, it seems like before he's managed that, Van Kasteren has signed the 4 to another team, that team being rumoured to be Alpecin-Fenix. We don't know much for sure yet, no official announcements have been made, but Lefevre has confirmed he will not be working with these 4 riders, whilst Van Kasteren has confirmed that Verstringen and Wieseure will turn pro with a team on the 1st of March. Hermans and Van Kessel finished their seasons with Intermarché first on the road, before joining for the cross season presumably. Once again, this team seems to be Alpecin-Fenix. So what does this mean and where does it leave everyone? Alpecin-Fenix probably come out this the best. They snap up Hermans and Van Kessel and get the top 2 from the under-23 Worlds on their books too. It's a hell of a deal for them. As for the rest, Intermarché want to continue and Tormans Quickstep will be hoping to continue as well, which suddenly opens a lot of doors for a lot of riders. Now, bear in mind I'm not a journalist, I have no contacts and I'm working largely with other people's reports and some own assumptions. I think that Tormans continue and Quickstep continue as well. If I'm Lefevre, I continue. But of course I don't know the finances of the situation specifically. Whilst Hermans and co might be the ones stealing the limelight, like I said before, I think Backstedt is the gem that Lefevre really wants. Lefevre builds his teams around centrepieces, and if he doesn't think he can win, he doesn't bother. That's where the crux of his earlier comments about women's cycling come from too. He didn't want to invest because he didn't have anyone to build on, no centrepiece, no chance to win. Zoe Backstedt is the exact kind of centrepiece that he can build a squad around. So whilst losing especially Hermans could scupper the new Tormans team a bit. They still have Kevin Kuhn and Thomas Mean at elite level, which is good enough to keep the team afloat, but they'll want a tad more. Laurens Sweeck is out of contract and rumoured to be joining either Intermarché or Tormans. He's been a rumour there for quite a while in fact. Likewise, Vincent Bostans has no deal lined up for next year. It could be an effective stopgap. Donaerts and Lars van der Haar are free to move as well, I believe, but they seem quite happy at Balwazertrek and I don't think they'll move. And then there's Cameron Mason as well. The obvious assumption is Mason to Ineos, British team, British rider. But could he be persuaded by a good offer? Maybe. Intermarché could also be looking into the French cross scene. Intermarché as a team and as a company are trying to break into the French market somewhat. Clément Venturini, currently at AG Desert, would be an incredibly smart pickup, both on the road and in cross. And to build around him, they could also bring in Joshua Dubois, for example. There's definitely options available. Now, for Lefebvre, I venture that the end goal is a massive empire of cycling, effectively, with Quick-Step on the road for the men, Next Generation or another team, something similar to that though, for the women on the road, and then on the cross side you have Tormans across both genders, with Arcog Tormans as the junior category. Honestly, on paper it looks truly formidable. Even without Hermans van Kessel, Wiesure and Verstringen, this empire would, in cross terms, still have Kevin Kuhn, Thomas Mean and Marius Schreiber amongst the under-23 elites at the moment, and almost certainly be strengthened further. Then you've still got Bakstedt, who's joining the under-23s next year, and in the junior categories you still have Belgian junior champion Zadie van Zinay, Belgian Nieuwelinge champion Axel van den Broek, Alma Johansson is part of the Arkrog team as well, and so are Kenai de Mooijer, Nienke Vinke and the sisters Mirre and Senne Knaven, who ride cross for Arkrog and on the road for Next Generation Racing. There's enough talent in there to keep this team afloat, and even if the early years are a little bumpier, they should still be pretty much fine. And maybe, if they really have to, they could get some of them old boys at Quick-Step back onto cross. They of course do have triple world champion Zdenek Štibar amongst their ranks, and junior silver medalist Julien Alaphilippe. I'm sure they wouldn't mind helping out, and I'm sure we wouldn't mind watching them help out. For what it's worth though, Jan Tormans seems pretty sure this project will continue. Then again, he was sure the other four would join him too, so who knows really. It's been a whirlwind few days and the dust hasn't settled yet, but as of right now, it looks like Tormans joined Quick-Step, who expanded to women's racing through Next Gen, with the potential of all three teams assembling like some kind of crazy Power Rangers Megazord thing. Then Hermans van Kessel, Wiesure and Verstringen are all but confirmed to Alpecin-Fenix, and Intermarché are left empty-handed. Suddenly, Laurens Sweeck must be looking like a really interesting rider.